We the content. We.
How you doing?
I'm good. I think, you know what, I got a really interesting taxi driver on my way here.
Okay.
And he was a really lovely guy, but he was one of those I'm not buying the COVID bullshit kind of thing, which really gets a tongue-in-cheek with me, mainly because he saw it in like the financial aspect of it. So like he was like, oh, there's money that they're putting into this whole track and trace, this bullshit, all of this and all of this.
True.
Which is true, I understand and respect that, but he thinks that they're making, I don't know, I saw it as a bit of tongue-in-cheek. He was like, I feel like they're making a massive hoopla over nothing. So he was trying to say that like, okay, I agreed with him on this, how the cases are always like maybe the true cases to what's really is going on.
Yeah, they're being conflated, 100%.
Absolutely, and he was saying how he didn't really appreciate how they just put us in tier 3 and rejected our request of being funded more money as like a city.
Completely fair enough.
Exactly, but he was like, when you go to Dubai, they all have their thermometer guns. They all make sure the moment you leave your house, you wear a mask and stuff. And he's saying, I'm just getting tired with how the UK are making us do all these things, but then you can go shopping and half of the people aren't wearing masks. Some people don't think. And I was like, but that's why I feel like they're making such a hoopla. I was like, you're not stupid. I'm not stupid. So if someone says to us, okay, if you wash your hands all the time and, you know, maybe sometimes wearing a mask, if you are ill or whatever, helps, then do so. But you're going to get those people who don't read between lines. Mm-hmm. So if you scream and shout, it's like when you're at school and teachers will shout at you for that one person, that one person's not going to get it, but all of you as a collective will. And if you all start mimicking what she's shouting about and not doing it again, then that one person will also follow that.
True. But we've been in a pandemic for the best part of a year now. Because think about it, the first wave was literally before the first wave was like in November, but no one really knew that it was corona and what was going on. And then in February there was more talks, and then it was March, like everything was lock off.
Yeah, I feel like the government's always been so obsessed with keeping secrets.
True.
It's always like, I feel like we're like kids, you know, when you're at home and your parents are talking and you come in and they change the subject. So you kind of know there's something going on, but you never really know the gravitas of it. Yeah. And I think that's a problem. Like I was trying to say to him, well, in Dubai, there seems like some form of clear communication. Yeah. We don't get that.
And transparency.
Exactly.
But do you think that's because, well, I mean, is Dubai smaller? Yeah, Dubai would be smaller. So, like, there's a part of me that wants to say that control in Dubai is going to be very different to control in the UK. And because there's so many different people in the UK that are from various walks of life that when they get a consistent message, they might have different interpretations of that message. Yeah. It could be as simple as stay alert. However, if you're saying stay alert and then you've got pictures of white people at the beaches and then you have lockdown happening in Manchester the same night as Eid, your alertness is going to
be conflicted.
Yeah, I don't need to be alert. I don't need to be that alert.
There's nothing to do with me. It's not my business kind of thing.
It's like active instead of active participation or going against the grain. They're sort of just sitting on a fence with maybe, let's say I'm talking about like less vulnerable individuals, then they're sort of sitting on this fence of active complacency, really.
Yeah. I think as well, I don't know, I feel like I always get really conflicted because the topic of COVID is something that's always going to be discussed, like how I said in that taxi cab. So I always try and talk about...
It's like a conversation starter now, isn't it? It's like, how's the weather? How's COVID? You got your track and trace.
Are you staying safe? How are we going to see each other? Oh, I can't see you because I have to isolate for these couple of days or whatever. Yeah. Like, I think I really decided to be quite ignorant about it all because I think, you know, I have to go to work in a public area where I'm surrounded by people who I don't know what they're doing all the time. Yeah. I don't know who they've just seen.
You're probably the cleaner.
person out of the group. Do you know what I mean? Or
well, you have to be because you're washing your hands
all the time. I'm constantly
using anti-bac,
constantly talking to people, constantly having a mask on. I feel like until they say major lockdown, or maybe, I don't know, like, I sometimes feel really bad saying I want to be oblivious and ignorant to it, because then I feel like people are going to be like, well, you just feel like that because nothing really hasn't happened to you or your family. But like,
no, but that's not it. That's not it at all. It's that whole thing of like, you want to be ignorant because you don't want to be fueled by the scarcity.
Yeah,
if
I guess.
people, like, let's say all the people that are traveling right now, like, don't let guilt follow you just because scarcity is present.
Yeah.
Like, if you're being ushered to travel. Just be safe with your travel.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Just be considerate. Just don't, when you have to isolate when you do. When you have to, I don't know, take longer precautions of getting A to B, then do. That's the cost you make for the travel. But don't feel bad because you're traveling. Like,
okay, true.
I honestly, I think there's a difference between, I don't know, especially at the start of this pandemic, we were all like paranoid. We were all looking at the numbers, the death toll rates just going up. Even living in South Manchester, you can imagine how much scarcity there is, because Fallowfield was literally on the map. Fallowfield was like one of the biggest areas of corona because of like
student and
just a multitude of things. So if I want to be ignorant, that means that I want to live in a world or live in a reality where I'm not just engulfed by the pandemic itself. Like, I'm basically, like, even now, I was in Fallowfield yesterday, right? I'm going to wash my hands when I leave the house. I'm going to wash my hands when I'm out of the house. I'm going to wash my hands after I use anti-bac. I still need to go to Fallowfield. I'm not going to...
You can't halt your life just because something's trying to halt your life.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Don't get me wrong. There is that fear factor of the fact that, there's a higher rate. But then also, I could just wear my mask and mind my business. Like, I think... I don't know, it's back and forth, because sometimes I'm like, I want to be ignorant because I don't want to be fueled by all the scarcity that I see in the media and all the scarcity that's projected onto me by ignorant individuals. So like Leo was saying this on the last episode, Research and Reflect, how she doesn't like how the government were using statistics to drive this hysteria, to drive this fear. If you're going to the general public, oh, we need to keep our Z score this, we need to do this, that, then they don't know what those things are. They're going to use, it's very patronising, but now they're using this information to belittle others. Like, I don't know, I think another reason why I'm so fueled by this is because the pandemic has also shown us how ableist the world is. And I think that's something that's really this pandemic has really woke me up to how ableist this whole world that we live in is.
I want to mention something that annoys me. Domino's are like, to comply with social distancing.
Wait, come in, George, come in.
To comply with social distancing in our kitchens, we've removed the gluten-free bases from our menu, but now they're bringing in loads of other stuff back, but the gluten-free stuff, gone. And then all the places are just closing down. Public toilets, like, all of the stuff, like, they're reducing staff, like, how are people in wheelchairs supposed to, like, there's so much stuff that in reopening is hurting everyone who, not even who are like fully disabled, but you know, everyone who has reduced mobility, dietary needs, who has, you know, mental health disorder. Everyone's just been thrown to the wayside.
I got irritated with this whole situation with mental health, because everybody was like, oh, the pandemic is like increasing people's like mental health and like making it worse and stuff. And I was like, do you know what? A lot of people have a lot of issues, whether they want to call it a mental health issue, whether they want to call it some conflict they're dealing in within themselves. This has been going on for ages. And I got so angry that now, because people are in confined areas, they can't leave and whatever. Maybe annoyed is the wrong word, but I felt like I hated that it's like with the whole Black Lives Matter thing now, because everybody is feeling this certain type of way. Now everybody has to talk about it.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people deal with mental health issues, self-harm and hate themselves and go through all this hatred every single day? So many people. We've been talking about the increase of male suicides for a long time now. We've been talking about suicide just in general for a long time now. So now you're telling me because things are now suddenly getting documented, like George Floyd's death or the guy who died at Man Uni's accommodation, now we want to act on it. Oh, I'm sorry that just because it was someone close to you, now that it matters to the masses, when before these kind of things were not so highly regarded or cared for. And even though everybody's like, was it bad or bad publicity is good publicity, I feel with this whole COVID thing, it annoys me because it's addressing a lot of things that have been problems within myself and with people around me. And now people are like, guys, I want to talk about it because now it's affecting me and the people around me. And it was just like, so when it wasn't a problem and it wasn't an issue that would affect you and a massive group of people, like, it doesn't matter, kind of thing.
No, I get that. And it's
frustrating.
It's frustrating. It's a joke. It's like, look, my mum always used to say to me, Sarah, everyone's learning the same thing at different times, right? And I'm not gonna lie to you, like that, knowing that, being dark skinned, living in Windsor, that saved me, because I was able to sort of not completely appreciate what people are doing or people are saying that are around me, but I could understand that everybody is learning the same thing at different times. We all have different routes taking us there. We have all different experiences that help us digest that information. Unfortunately, that does mean for a lot of the time you see things in their entirety when people only can see things in their facets, because they can only go as far as as far as they've taken themselves. But if you've been taking X, Y, and Z because that's what you've been exposed to, you're going to feel in conflict because your whole world is on a different range and wavelength compared to the latter.
But this is what annoys people, when you suddenly put this problem in front of people's faces now, then they go, I want to learn, I want to educate myself.
Yeah.
That's what annoys me.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
For example, like,
but that's why we need to centre the people in the margins first.
Okay.
Like, we could be having this conversation about white people and black people. We could have this conversation about cisgender and transgender people. We could have this conversation with so many different communities, but we need to centre the individuals on the margins, because that's the only way that we're going to actually do it right.
Then how do we do that?
We need to hire them in their spaces. We need to make not just 50% of what's visually seen in organisations, but the people in the background need to be 50% of marginalised community as well. That's how you provide inclusive environments.
I think it's easier
said than done, completely.
And I also think it's easier to mask it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, for example,
tokenism is real.
I always found it funny because my mum called me when the whole thing with the whole Black Lives Matter thing happened, and she called me and she was like, this is your opportunity to rather jump on the bandwagon and say you're a token in business and say it is what it is, or you can flip it and have to work your way up. So she's like, are you going to just go that, because she said either way both of them are a level of stress. So are you going to want to be organic and genuine and work your way up the right way, and then take hardships of maybe not being hired because of whatever reason or whatever, or are you going to accept the fact that you're going to be more attracted to people because you are a black woman, and inclusivity and diversity is what this company needs right now.
I know exactly what you mean, and it's an awkward. This is why I'll never blame an individual from the, I hate the word, but BAME community for whatever the choice they do. Obviously, there's wayward people in any fucking community. Let me just say that with full chest. Thank you. Obviously, there's wayward people in any community, but I'm trying to say, like, let's say now there's certain black women in the media might have to downplay certain issues because of the environment that they're in, because they want security of their job, they want the they want their job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like they want their job, and that's fair enough. Don't get me wrong. There's ways going about the thing. If you're there saying as a black woman, oh, all lives matter, then I'm gonna have to
call you out on it.
Call you out of it. It's gonna be a swift left exit out of the shop because you're mad. As simple as that. But there's also ways of going about things. Like, I understand why some people might not want to, shake the table because they don't know what the impact is going to have on their future.
I think we all kind of know the impact, though, don't we?
I mean, now we fucking do.
It's like yes or no. It's like I had a dissertation to do the other day, which I finished. I just had to add, I was really happy about that. Thank you. But I'm acting like I'm the only person who has ever had to do that before.
No, but the thing is, at the day you are.
No, yeah.
I literally be like, oh my god, my dissertation. Round.
Did you guys know I'm at uni doing a dissertation? Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Around the library, being like, my dissertation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's another thing. We're all the centre of our own universe.
Yeah, so true.
It's like we all get so stressed out. We just need to respect the stress and move forward.
Absolutely.
Forward ever, backwards never.
But I had to. I decided. Okay, so the reason why I'm saying this is when I did my. Start again. During lockdown, with the whole death of George Floyd, the whole Black Lives Matter, and I think I called you actually. No, you called me, and I said to you that it's just been very stressful in the sense of like the idea that you could lose friends, you could gain friends, you see people's true colors, you kind of lose, like, not even like maybe lose friends, but like you distance yourself from people, and then you're like, oh shit, like, you're not my boy then. Okay, I get you. It is what it is, kind of thing.
Yeah, and you're like, oh shit, I had to learn that with you again.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and so when I was doing my dissertation, I had to do the incident with Gucci when they made the blackface balaclavas and turtlenecks.
Okay.
Did you see this?
It was this a couple of years back.
This was like maybe like 2 years ago now.
Yeah, I saw this.
And I remember I called my mum and I was like, if you worked in a fashion house and let's say you were part of like production, buying and merchandising, and then you see that your creative director has now made this thing, as a black woman, what would you do? And she goes, and I'm working for Gucci, and I was like, yeah. And she goes, and I'm paying well, and I was like, yes. And she's like, and I live in Italy, and I was like, yeah. She's like, I'm not saying anything. And I said, why? She was like, I'm in Italy, a very well paying job. If no one else called it out prior, that's not my business. I'm buying and merchandising. And I was like, but this is a merchandise that you're selling. And this is the company that you work for. And she goes, but Dani, what am I going to do? They'll go, okay, tell me why you think that's blackface. Show them all these minstrel artists. And like the CEO even said, that's not our culture. We don't do that kind of thing. But everybody knows what a gollywog is, who samba is, who mami is, who what a minstrel is. And like literally when I was reading this article, they were saying Frank Sinatra, Judy Garland, Robert Downey Jr., what's his name? Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister. All of these people have done blackface at one point in their life. Everybody knows what it is. But it was able to be sold a year after the runway happened. No, for over a year after the runway had happened. And no one said anything. No one picked up on it.
Do you think your mother's response, though, is based on a generational thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Because even myself, I would also be like, that's not my business. And I agree with that.
So you would say it's not your business as well?
I would be so scared to lose my job. I already have the job in future. I wouldn't. But that's because, like...
I mean, the thing is, there's so much politics behind that. Because, yeah, you don't want to lose your job. You're working at a very high established fashion brand. You are also in Italy, so you're living in a racist fucking environment.
Exactly.
Even though there are people that migrated into that place so long ago that they are actually
Italian.
They're actually Italian. But I don't know.
But you know what I said to her? Do you know what I
couldn't get myself in that position. Like, I know it sounds really messed up because nobody's better than anybody else, but I couldn't physically put myself in that position because it would remind me of every single experience that I've been with before.
But this is when the saying, like, take the bull by the horns, I would have jumped in and I would have been like, by the way, to fix this issue, have you heard of Dapper Dan? And then done what they did, and then the CEO go to Harlem, meet Dapper Dan, understand where he's coming from, and then the following year, then you have on the Met Gala red carpet, you have Ashley Graham. So first of all, you've got a black designer, you have a plus size model, you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So you're going, okay, I'm sorry,
but Ashley Graham is problematic as fuck.
I kind of like her,
but she's problematic as fuck. You know what?
Wait, can I say why I like her?
You can tell me why you like her in Decoding the Messes.
Okay.
Write it down, because I want to know your point. But I think we're gonna have to talk about.
Now, though,
okay,
real quick.
tell me.
Okay,
you can go into detail later.
Okay,
but we need to start the episode.
Okay, let me just say this real quick though.
Okay.
So, I've always been a little thickums. I've never actually had an issue with being overweight. I kind of like my thickness. I've had an issue of being like, I've always been the only big girl, so it's always deemed me as like the funny girl or whatever, but I'm lucky because I like to think I'm funny. I don't know. But like, it was nice to see a plus size girl as the main, the main character in a music video. Yeah. Joe Jonas, who like, sorry, I am a Jonas Brothers fan at heart.
Yeah, no, honey,
I was obsessed with him.
Say with chest.
Yeah, I love the Jonas Brothers. No, but like, to see her dancing in just a t-shirt with this guy who was gorgeous and everybody was obsessed with her, I was like, I can do that.
Yeah.
I am also pretty enough to get someone who's that good looking, whatever. Like, it made you feel better. Like I was the whole, I'm going to put myself in the stereotype, but I was that girl who I didn't really have anyone to like look up to apart from like That's So Raven and True Jackson, like, because they were the only TV shows that weren't deemed as like the stereotypical black people. Yeah. Like Keenan and Kel were like these stupid, goofy idiots who always got in trouble, who were from like the ghetto. Like I
love them.
No,
I love them.
Could you relate to them though?
A little bit. A little bit more so than... Actually, no, I say that. Look at me. 10 years on from That's So Raven, I'm doing bloody like spirituality and shit.
Like, for me, like, the whole concept
that
of
was
doing,
me having
like...
a vision.
See what I mean? Then, like, it felt like... For me, it was like... I used to always go like, who loves orange soda? Cal loves orange soda. Is it true? Like, yes, I do, but also, who also loves orange soda? Black people. White people don't really jump on that much. Like, where do you get Mirinda? In chicken shops. You can't walk to Tesco and grab a Mirinda. Like, and that's what used to annoy me, because where would you go and find those chicken shops?
Okay, fair.
In inverted commas, the ghetto. Like,
okay,
but, you know?
Yeah, no, I hear you.